If you've been curious about weight loss medications like Ozempic or are currently using them, this conversation is a must listen. Meet Sylvia from Louisiana, 79 years young, and proof that transformation is possible at any age. When she started Ozempic, she lost 50 pounds. But with decades of yo-yo dieting behind her, Sylvia knew that lasting weight release would take more than a prescription. It would take a mindset shift. In this powerful interview, Sylvia shares how combining Ozempic with the Shift Weight Mastery process and weight loss hypnosis helped her change not only her habits, but also continue releasing weight after having a plateau with Ozempic, and also making many powerful mindset shifts. Her story is a reminder that the real magic isn't in the medication, it's in the mind. So come on in and let's get started. Did you know that our struggle with weight doesn't start with the food on your plate or get fixed in the gym? 80% of our weight struggle is mental. That's right. The key to unlocking long-term weight release and management begins in your mind. Hi there, I'm Rita Black. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, weight loss expert, best-selling author, and the creator of the Shift Weight Mastery process. And not only have I helped thousands of people over the past 20 years achieve long-term weight mastery, I am also a former weight struggler, carb addict, and binge eater. And after 2 decades of failed diets and fad weight loss programs, I lost 40 pounds with the help of hypnosis. Not only did I release all that weight, I have kept it off for 25 years. Enter the Thin Thinking podcast, where you too will learn how to remove the mental roadblocks that keep you struggling. I'll give you the thin thinking tools, skills, and insights to help you develop the mindset you need, not only to achieve your ideal weight, but to stay there long term and live your best life. Sound good? Let's get started. Hello, hello, hello. Happy August, everyone, and welcome. Come on in and get cozy. I hope you're doing great. I hope you're looking forward to the month of August and not dreading it. I imagine a lot of you might be traveling or getting yourselves organized for the autumn. I'm really excited to share my conversation with the amazing Sylvia because not only because she has a great story to tell, so I'm very excited to share that with you, but because a lot of people have been asking me, my opinion of the current weight loss medications that are out there in the world. And I, tell people they really need to get the facts for themselves, weigh all the different uh, things, the side effects and the cost uh, and the availability, et cetera, and really make the decision that is best for them. The bottom line, it always comes back, uh, whether or not you're taking a weight loss medication or doing some other sort of methodology, keto, fasting, it always comes back to your relationship with yourself, to your mindset. And so my interview with Sylvia is just very enlightening because, like a lot of other my students, some have found these medications, even though there are side effects, they can be helpful. So I'm excited to share my interview with Sylvia. It's very enlightening because she got introduced to Ozempic because of blood sugar and diabetes, and has found this medication very helpful for that, even though there were definitely side effects for her. Uh, but she realized that even though that part of it was being helped by medication, there was a huge, huge piece of the mental part of weight management that was missing. Now, interestingly, I've been helping people manage their weight and release weight for over 2 decades. And I've seen a lot of advances in weight management in my career. Well, weight management advances, when I say advances, I mean just new things that have come and gone for some, and then others have come and stayed around. And I remember lecturing actually at UCLA in the early 2000s about hypnosis to a lecture hall that was filled with people who were gastric bypass patients. These were people who had the surgery already, had had amazing results, had lost hundreds of pounds, but they were a couple of years into their journey, so they were post gastric bypass. And with talking with them, and after the lecture, and hearing a lot of their stories, it was interesting because the first year after the surgery, first year, maybe even couple of years for many, many gastric bypass uh, patients, um, it's miraculous, that the food noise goes away. Not for everybody, but for some people, it can feel like a miracle. The food noise goes away. They have very little appetite. The weight just comes off. But it seems like, and especially with talking with all these people, uh, around the 2-year mark things start to occur. Food noise starts coming back, cravings start coming back. Not for everybody, but for quite a few. And one thing they always said was, it was, even though their stomach was smaller, their mind was, they still feel like they had a fat mind. Um, so that was, very eye-opening for me. And, as I was developing the shift weight mastery process back then, it always just reaffirmed my dedication to mindset, the mindset piece of weight management. Because when we have our mind in the right place, we have ownership. We are the ones who are empowered. We aren't uh, focusing on fasting windows, or, amounts of, grams of carbs we've eaten. I mean, that might be part of the piece for you, but it's not the answer. You are the answer. You're managing yourself within your world and feeling that confidence that you can. And that is the most important piece, regardless of surgery, diet, fasting windows, medications, what have you. So that's really why I'm also excited, because I am hosting 3 live masterclasses coming up, and I would love for you to come and learn what I'm talking about, really using your mind powerfully, engaging your subconscious mind, which really resists change, unfortunately. And we're going to look at how to use your mind effectively to engage your subconscious mind, so it's aligned with you and not working with you, so that you can break through. We're going to do a weight loss hypnosis session designed to get you motivated, focused, and on your way. So if you're interested, there's a link in the show notes, but you can also go to www.shiftweightmastery.com/live. That's www.shiftweightmastery.com/live, and sign up for the masterclass. Okay, and now let's meet Sylvia. Well, welcome to the Thin Thinking Podcast, Sylvia. It's really great to have you here. I've been looking forward to our conversation.
Thank you. So have I.
You and I were talking about hurricanes. Sylvia lives in Louisiana, and just the weather in general. So we were having a great conversation, and the fact that she walked the Santiago Trail. That was 8 years ago, 9 years ago.
Well, in 2016. So yes, about 9.
Yeah, and
I was there about now. Actually, no, I went August 23rd. So
okay. That's amazing. And you walked 475 miles.
Yes, I did take a taxi every now and then, or we would take a bus into a big city, because just walking in just seemed to be just walking into a city. But it was, but that's what I did. The others, some of them did. You don't always walk together. There were 3 of us, and you do walk independently and with other people that you meet along the way. So it's really a excellent experience. Hard, but excellent.
And you were 70 at the time.
I turned 70 partway, yes.
Was that part of your 70th birthday celebration?
No, we planned it, but it happened to be that I turned 70 and a companion turned 60.
Mhm.
And the other person also had a birthday during that time. So it just happened. But then it began to be, yeah, that I did this when I was 70, you know.
Wow.
And I heard one of my granddaughters said, somebody was complaining, and she said, my grandma's 70 years old and she's walked, 500 miles. So because they rounded it off, you can do this. And so they, they do recognize it, and they take pride in it, I think, at the
Oh,
time.
yeah. Yeah, I know.
No one thought I could do this. I weighed about 225 pounds and had some health issues, and
Wow, but you were determined and you did it.
yes.
Now, well, so talking about your weight, so tell us a little bit about your origin story. Did you struggle from a small age, or when did you start struggling?
Small age. When I was, seemed like when I reached puberty, looking back, that I must have, fluffed out a little bit, because looking back, the pictures don't look bad at all. And um, I just have a call coming in I want to ignore, but I don't want to touch this. So, um, looking back, I struggled at least from being in the seventh grade. I remember thinking I was overweight. I was at 120 pounds, and my thighs were too big, and this was too big. And, we rode bikes, and I dieted, and, these crazy diets and stuff, even as a young girl. And that went on my whole life. I'd be successful and lose weight, and it would come back. And and I realized that there was more to it than just dieting, and that there had to be something else going on. But because sometimes you would just lose easily, and other times, no matter what you did, you couldn't stop gaining.
Yeah.
So,
Did you always live in the South? Like, was that also a part of it? Like, the food there, because you live in Louisiana. I mean, the food
yeah,
there is,
my parents had lived through the Great Depression, and my dad wanted to make sure we had enough food.
mm,
So we had a lot of protein, and there was fresh vegetables and stuff. But there were also, I lived in the middle of a rice field, so rice was at every meal, white rice, and so that came with gravy, and that
yeah,
jambalaya and different things. So you had you had all of these home baked goods and different things, but it was just part of how we ate.
yeah,
And yes, I probably could have, but I didn't know enough, to know better.
right.
But it was just always a struggle.
Right. And so, what were, when you said I think you said you had done some systems like Nutra
Oh,
system and
I did every diet known to man, from boiled eggs and grapefruit to all the Jenny Craig Nutrisystem, you name it, Weight Watchers, you name it, I did it. And I probably had some success on some of them, but it was the same thing. It wouldn't last.
right.
So, I just sometimes you give up and sometimes you say no. And then it was beginning to affect my health. I was becoming a diabetic,
Mm,
and I was pre-diabetic at the time until COVID, and then with all the steroids and all, I ended up a diabetic. I just couldn't seem to, when I got off of them, my blood sugar stayed high, and so that's when I looked at other options, and I looked at the weight loss surgery, and I looked at different things, and it was my physician that suggested Ozempic.
right.
That she had patients doing very well on it. So it was when it wasn't available. So
Right.
somehow with the pharmacy, when it was available, they got mixed up on the dose, and I ended up on a higher dose than I needed to. So I had to get off of it for a while. And those results were just terrible. You were really sick when you were on the wrong dose. So then I was off about a month and then got back on the right dose. And
Did
then,
you did she put you on it for because of your diabetes, or was it for weight loss? Like, was it blood sugar management or weight loss?
blood sugar management, but we agreed that, I weighed over 225 pounds,
Right.
and I'm 5'4", a little shorter probably if you take half inches because we trimmed. But so, we agreed I needed to do something. I was probably complaining to her about how hard it was to try to lose weight. And so I went on it for both reasons.
Okay.
But she kept me on a low dose. A lot of people go right on up from 0.25 to 0.5 to 1 to 2, And then I'm hearing some of those on the 0.2 can't seem to lose again. So I've been, it's been 2 years, and I've stayed on a low dose. I'm on 0.5.
Okay.
And my blood sugars are very well, as long as, I'm doing my part, they're very well controlled. And so things are going well with me there.
That's so great.
I made that just I heard about your program, I think one of the master classes. And I knew that if I didn't make a change, it would all come back. There was, you didn't know if the insurance would continue to pay, so you'd have to get off. You didn't know if they were going to continue to have it, so you might be off of it. I mean, there were many reasons you'd have to get off of it. And I lost 50 pounds when I talked to you about going into the Masterclass, the first program you have. And I knew that, I just knew I needed something different. And it seemed like what I was hearing was the kind of program I needed. I had been a smoker, and I had been hypnotized. Somebody came to town. We went to a program for one night. You got the cassettes.
One of those big
seminars. You listened to the cassettes, yeah. And I didn't, I probably slowed down a little bit and picked back up. But I eventually, I think it did help me because I would listen to the tape. But it wasn't like a,
like one and done.
It's never one and done, right? So then I started that. And the more I was on your program, the better my eating pattern was. And I noticed, how the coaches, especially Rosia, I remember her saying, I'm someone who eats, one of the things we changed to, I like that, or I'll try to eat my vegetables, to I'm someone that eats vegetables, or I'm someone that exercises. That's who I become.
Right.
I thought that is the attitude, in addition to listening to your coaching and learning the skills and all of that. And I'm going too fast. I took the master class, then I did the 30-day program.
Right.
Where I really got into it. And I found that all parts of the program helped me. And when I wasn't, like if I found out I was skipping vegetables or something, I would listen to that over and over a few days.
Well, Sylvia, I just wanted to not interrupt you, but I wanted to add on to something you said that I thought was really key. And I think it was kind of cool that I just wanted to highlight was this idea of identity, because we talk about identity a lot, and how Coach Rosia was saying, I am somebody who.
Yes.
And I think that is that's so internal. And we, at Shift, we talk about a lot of different, because I think on the weight loss journey, there's a lot of different iterations of who you become. Like you said, I become somebody who eats vegetables, and it's not like I have to eat vegetables or I got to eat a bunch, but like, I'm just somebody who enjoys vegetables. And I think that's an interesting thing in conjunction with the weight loss drug, because we were talking a little bit about identity. And sometimes I've heard other people talking, I don't think you're struggling with this at all, which is awesome. But some people on weight loss drugs, and I just wanted to have this conversation because we're just talking about weight loss drugs in general too, is that they have some sort of an imposter syndrome, because, they're losing weight, but they feel like it's something outside of them rather than something that's coming from the inside out. Right. And I think what you're talking about is real internal change that was happening for you in addition to.
Right. Because I knew from my history that just taking the drug was never enough. I had seen people have bariatric surgery. it's never enough. You've got to change,
Yeah.
and you see it in any of those type of programs. It takes, they always call it a tool. It takes the bigger picture, the lifestyle changes. And your program, the shift program, helps to give you that structure that you're looking at your vision, you're gradually changing your identity, you're making those internal changes while you're using some basic eating and nutrition information and exercise. It's just a whole package. Plus the counseling. We have you do that, like this last counseling really touched me. It was for another person, but I have found that there's so many similar stories that
Yes.
brought them here, and there's so many similar situations that I can hear your coaching of someone else, and it's parts of it speak to me. So this last one you did, I guess it was on the. It was a binging, I guess, the comfort craver.
Oh, yeah. We were talking, that was the binge eating workshop we did.
Yes, that really touched me as the little girl, my comfort craver. And I could see that, so clearly because I know about the child within and all, different things. But it just struck me so clearly. And all of the I don't know what we call them, identity parts.
Yeah, the parts of us. Yeah.
Yeah, the parts of us, whether it's the coach person or the critic or whatever, that really impacts us. And we need to connect and know that's going on, internally, whether you notice it or not.
Yeah, I think a lot. I was talking to Coach Rocio about this last night. We had a meeting, and we were talking about the internal parts integration. That's what we would call it, and there's systems like internal family systems, but with the idea, and for somebody who doesn't know all of this stuff, it's just the idea that we have these different parts of us, and some of them get abandoned, like and pushed deep down. And in this binge workshop, we talked about the inner comfort craver, and that's the part, and that part isn't bad. It has needs. And when you recognize that part, it's kind of like a tantruming child. When you actually listen to that part, they kind of calm down. They feel heard. And so when you can because so much of the weight struggle is a breakdown in our internal communication. And there's all these different parts of us that are not communicating well together. And to get them all in the same team, it's like being a manager. I don't know, what was your career, Sylvia?
I was a manager.
You were a manager.
I was a registered nurse for 50 years, but I was in leadership most of that. And toward the end, I have about 30 years of managing hospice programs.
Oh my goodness. So there you go. So you know how to manage people. So now you're managing your inner team.
That's right. That's right. That's the plan.
Yeah.
Well, but there's enough external things that can shame a person that's overweight, that has a poor body image.
Yeah.
Or, and we certainly don't need to do it to ourselves, but we do. We don't know better. We do, but eventually this helps.
Your body has changed. You've released now 75 pounds. So you released 50 pounds with the help of Ozempic, and then you continue to release weight. So you're now down about 75 pounds, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And so I've been maintaining since April.
Okay, excellent. And that's you're at your ideal weight.
For me, yes, for my age and for me.
Oh yes, no, absolutely. I think you're at a perfect weight, and 79 for people out there who are like, I'm too old to release weight, I can't do it. What would you say to them?
Yes, you can do it. If I can do it, if I can walk the Camino, if I can do it, you can do it, because I'm no different than anybody else. I like a piece of chocolate and I like to eat,
Yeah.
And my life is social. I have a lot of friends and we go out to eat. None of us want to cook. We do cook sometimes, but that's our socialization, is getting together.
Yeah.
And everybody brings something that they, all these goodies and all. So it helps that I do hypnosis, but they know I like my brownies. I may take
You
some.
can have your brownies and
I
make
may take
your
something
ideal
to.
weight.
That's right. I can take some to go and just not eat, a lot. But I like chocolate. But
Can I ask you about food noise? And because I know Ozempic and the weight loss drugs can be helpful to turn down the food noise. But then you mentioned something about like when you were doing Ozempic, and then when you started to shift, you started to notice like different eating patterns would create like food
yes,
noise or not food noise. Can you talk to that a little bit?
right. I think it takes away a lot of the food noise. But if I'm eating a lot of carbs,
Mhm.
I'm going to know that I'm going to want something, I'm going to
Right,
want,
you're gonna want more.
and then it's going to be a little bit all night. So I'm trying to find out, what's the lowest calorie thing I can eat and how much of this, air popped popcorn can I have or whatever. But invariably, I'm going to eat something I shouldn't eat. So I know that I really have to watch my carbs.
Yeah.
And I have to watch the sugar. But like you said, I also want to live my life and I want to enjoy life. And food is part of that. So I track everything. And, I try to make sure I get to exercise extra enough that week. I have several places I can go to make sure I get that in. And I have a treadmill at home. But I know that I have to kick up or do something else if I'm doing that.
Right.
And and I know that for most maintenance, I read, or I think it was in your maintenance module, that could be 5 pounds either way. But I find I don't want to be over my number.
Right.
I'll be 5 pounds up to 5 pounds less.
Mhm.
So that seems to be working for me.
What do you think that what of all the internal shifts that you have made on your journey uh, have been the most helpful for you? I mean, maybe you already mentioned the identity thing, but maybe there's something else that, really has helped you.
I think loving yourself and making sure I'm always telling other people, be kind to yourself, and trying to be uplifting because there's so many wounded people in the world. I'm also a spiritual director, but
Good
but
for
I find that I don't want to be hypercritical of myself either.
Mhm.
And I can be with the talk, with the way you speak to yourself. Well, I blew that, I failed that, I've been bad, and I really, and you emphasize that, and I try to use that talk,
Mhm.
and so that I'm not bad. I just ate something different or that I wanted. I made that choice. So now I'm making the choice to
Mhm.
not eat it for a while. Take a few days, 3 days or so, and eat lower carb and eat a different, healthier lifestyle because that's what I choose to do. I want to remain here.
Right. It's a lot more about choice and about uh, showing up for yourself in that moment when like we were talking about that internal communication. You're not beating yourself up. You're giving yourself a pep talk instead and learning
You
from.
say loving yourself down the scale.
Yeah.
It's you love yourself no matter what, but because if you have to love yourself even if you gain pounds. The thing is, you choose that you want to love yourself a different way.
Yeah.
you know. So, but that's that positive self talk in your entire program, whether it's meditation, hypnosis, coaching, or the skills, or the meetings, the peer meetings, and whatever that people attend. It all is very positive self talk. Uh, One of the hardest things for me, being my age, is how do you want what's your vision for 5 years?
Mhm.
Well, you know, I don't know if I'm going to be here in 5 years. So that was a really difficult thing. Now it's not a hard thing for me.
Good.
I can say, yes, this is what I want to be, what I am right now, and just keep keep being able to do that.
Do you find that you, because of this shift internally, you trust yourself more? I mean, you trust yourself that you can keep the weight off. You can trust that you, like you said, if you eat something or you gain a couple of pounds, you can trust that you've got the internal skill set to
Yes,
get
but
back.
it's a very fragile trust. Yes, I have trust,
Mhm.
and I believe I can, but it is fragile because I've failed at that so many times, but I didn't have the tools that I have now, or the attitude that this is what I want, and I don't want it for any other reason but for me, and to be able to be as healthy as I can and take care of myself at this, the end of this last quarter of my life.
Right. Well, and we
Yeah.
don't know if it's the last quarter. It could be
No,
the
because
last
my mother
third.
lived to be 94,
Good for
and I have
her.
a
That's
great grandfather at 97. But, if you look at the overall statistics, and uh, I've had some bad, but worse habits than they probably had. They had bacon, but I have other things.
I
But
don't know.
anyway,
Maybe those bad habits were good for you, Sylvia. We don't know.
that could
We'll
be.
have to weigh in. Well, um, but so that I understand that fragile self-trust, especially, and I'll just tell you because I know you're a few months into maintenance, that it takes about a year of maintenance and it takes going through the whole like calendar year, going through all the seasons, the holidays, Thanksgiving.
Mhm.
It takes, I frankly think it takes getting off track and getting back on track
Mhm.
enough to, and people who haven't shifted are probably like getting off track. It's like, well, yeah, we celebrate that because it gives you the muscle to get back on track.
Right, right.
So, but it takes about a year to start to feel like, okay, yeah, this is real and I've got this. And I think it's just time. It's just
Mhm.
like, but it takes that relationship with yourself to go, okay, we got this one, we got through that one. Yeah, we got this, kid.
And I hear from other people on the meetings
Yeah.
say essentially the same thing that you just said. Their experience has been that.
Yeah.
So I do believe and trust
Yeah.
that I can do it too.
Yeah. Well, what was I going to ask you about the experience of, so you're stabilized, so your blood sugar is stabilized, you're exercising, your food, you're maintaining your weight. How does your doctor feel about all of that?
Well, she's very happy.
Yeah.
Well, I have several of them. At my age, you have a pulmonologist, a
You,
cardiologist,
right.
a
You've got the team.
hematologist, oncologist,
You've
but
got the inner team and the outer team
a
there.
team,
Yeah.
yeah. But yes, she's very pleased.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see any reason that, she would make any changes to the Ozempic. But even worst case scenario, if I did have to go off of it, I wouldn't be afraid. I know there might be a little rougher patch temporarily because I was on it at least 2 years. But I don't think that would happen. But if it did, I feel like I could do it.
Yeah.
I can continue because I think if I'd had this before, I may not have gotten to where I needed it medically.
Yeah, I think that there are a couple of people in our community who have stopped taking the weight loss drug and
Mhm.
they're still releasing weight and they're doing fine. But I think it's like getting your mindset in the right place, getting the skills in the right place.
Mhm.
Like you said, the drug is a tool. And, like you said, it's done remarkable things for you as far as just,
Right.
stabilizing blood sugar, which
Well,
is
and it's helped my kidneys and it's helped my heart.
oh good.
There's other benefits to it that you don't really hear that much about. But
Yeah.
my cardiologist was thrilled that I was on it, and you know, there's been other benefits.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
Well, so if there's somebody out there listening who is on a medication, like a weight loss medication, or thinking about it, but still struggling, mentally and emotionally, what would you want them to know? Like what?
Well, I would really like them to know about a program such as yours because it's you fixed it so that it's reasonable for
Mhm.
people. It's it's a reasonable program. It's was less than Weight Watchers per month last time I was on Weight Watchers. So I mean, and and if they would just trust, if they understood a program that did truly have all the components that you have, or if they found another one that had those, and that it included the mental part.
Mhm.
That's so important. And it's not just learning about it, it's the
Mhm.
consistency of having the audios and things on in an app that you could listen to what you need to at any time, go back to past ones and listen to those. Or you can listen to the monthly mastery meetings and hear other people or hear that teaching or lesson for that month. There's just that, it brings you that consistency and it's a maturing of the information that you have and the integration that you have. I
Mhm.
think it's the integration of all those things that we kind of know about,
Yeah.
that if you hear them in a different format as a package, and then you begin to integrate that,
Mhm.
then you can live it.
Yeah.
And I'm certainly not perfect. And I mean, I'm as human as anybody else, but, and I've had my failures in life, many of them. But I do believe I have a positive attitude about this particular program because I've been through so many, I think.
Well, thank you, Sylvia. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that, but thank you for coming on and sharing your experience. Again, I think it's fantastic on so many levels that you're going to be celebrating your 79th birthday soon.
Yes.
And I think that's very inspiring for a lot of people who because I hear it all the time from people who are, in their late 60s or their early 70s, like, is it too late for me? And I think one of the things, now that I'm above 60, that I'm noticing about just being in the last, I'll say the last half of
Yeah.
life, somewhere, the late summer of my years, is that it's that mind space. It's not so much, I mean, the weight part is important, of course, and it feels great to feel good in your clothes and all of that good stuff, but I think you get to a certain age and it's just that mental alignment with yourself and who you are, and really not having all that other negative self-talk in your head
Mhm.
all the time.
Mhm.
Like, you don't want to spend this really important part of your life where you are reflecting a lot, in a
Well,
struggle with
I
yourself.
think I think you want to be able to do the things you want to do. You may have places you want to go, you people you want to see, but also the basic things. There are people who can't get up out of a chair, and chair yoga can keep you functional and still burn calories,
Right.
for your age group. And I'm in a class with about 70 people.
Wow.
It's a huge in a gym, and honey, it's an hour workout, but you work every joint, everything, and
That
core
sounds
stuff.
amazing.
And then I on a couple other days it's the pool. It's a therapeutic pool, which is nice and warm for us other people. But it's walking and the same kind of exercises, and that's a really it's called water therapy, that particular one, because there are handicapped people that have had coming back after surgeries and all. It's a smaller group, but it wears me out to go through all of that. And an hour of each of those a couple times a week is my goal, the 4 times. And then that way, if I at least miss one, I've got at least the 150 minutes or 300 minutes or whatever it is we need,
Yeah.
50 minutes done. So that's kind of it. Doesn't matter what age you are or what condition you start, but you do not want to be in a position where you cannot get out of a chair, walk around the grocery store if you want to, or go, because get in and out of a car. I mean, those are simple things
Right.
that you don't want to get to the point that you cannot do.
Yeah. Because
And
you take
it's
all
real
those for
easy to get
granted
there.
until you can't do them, right?
Right. It's not just little, and during the day, if you're not used to going to a gym, during the day, especially the mornings and noon, it's all us people. More people.
Yeah, no, I avoid the gym at rush hour.
Yeah.
Like
Workout, the workout rooms, at the machines, everything. It's people our age during the day.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah, for sure.
yes.
Yeah. So, well, that's great. Well, I'm glad you're living your life. You're doing what you want to do. You've got a great mindset and you're moving. It's fantastic. Any thoughts about going back to the Santiago Trail and doing it again
I have
when you're 80? For your 80th?
Well, a friend of mine was 86, and they did the they did the last 100.
Did they?
And
that's so cool.
And she said she was slower than the others that she went with. They were younger, but that's okay. You can do it. They used one of the companies. We didn't. We just stayed in, the albergues, which are like hostels. But there are ways you can do it, and I would have to do it one of the easier ways. But I did the things staying in the donativos, where where I felt like I was in a homeless shelter. But sometimes it's good for us to feel that way.
Yeah.
To see what but it was a good experience. I won't regret.
Yeah. So cool. So
Yeah.
cool. Well, you're cool, Sylvia. I love speaking with you. This was a great conversation.
I enjoyed our time together.
And thank you so much for sharing and being vulnerable about your experience, because I think a lot of people will be helped by this, just to know there's
I hope so.
a place to go. Well, thank you so much. And I'll look forward to having you back after you've done the Santiago when you turn 80.
Thank you so much, Sylvia, for your time and just for your authenticity. I just loved talking to you. And wasn't she so inspiring? I have already made a date. After I talked with Sylvia, I called my best friend from, middle school. We have known each other since then. And I made a date. I said, we are going to do the Camino Santiago when we turn 70. So we have a few years to get prepared, but I'm super excited. Sylvia totally inspired me. So I hope she inspired you too. And remember to come and join me for the free masterclass with weight hypnosis called Mastering Your Mindset for Permanent Weight Release. And the link is in the show notes, or you can go into www.shiftweightmastery.com/live and sign up. And I will look forward to seeing you there. You can access it from your phone, your tablet, or your desktop. It's online. It's super easy. We have fun. We have breakthroughs. Come and join us. Have a great time. And remember, have a wonderful week. And remember that the key, and probably the only key, to unlocking the door of the weight struggle is inside you. So keep listening and find it. You know where you can find me here next week. See you then. Thanks for listening to the Thin Thinking Podcast. Did that episode go by way too fast for you? If so, and you want to dive deeper into the mindset of long-term weight release, head on over to www.shiftweightmastery.com. That's www.shiftweightmastery.com, where you'll find numerous tools and resources to help you unlock your mind for permanent weight release, tips, strategies, and more. And be sure to check the show notes